Hi guys, it's Amy GablesStitcher here with a stitching update video. Today is April 17th, 2020, and the sun is shining here in New England, and I'm enjoying it. I hope everybody is doing well, staying healthy, and getting lots of stitching time. We are doing well here. It's been about 3 weeks since I filmed my last update video. I did have that stash dive video a couple of weeks ago, which was so much fun to film and go through everything, and hope everybody enjoyed watching that. I'm going to do some other types of special videos, I think either next week or the week after, because I was thinking about doing a blackbird design video, and people had mentioned they'd be interested in seeing that, so why not? But stitching update, that's why we're here. It has been about 3 weeks since my last stitching update video, and I had no idea, one, how long it had been since I filmed an update video, two, what I had stitched on since I had last filmed that update video. I hadn't been keeping great notes. I've been setting things aside, but I wasn't sure where I was, so I watched that video this morning to see what I had worked on. I thought it had been a month since I filmed, but it's only been 3 weeks, which is great. I'm finding ourselves in a little bit of that time zone where we don't really know what day it is, not sure how many days have elapsed since we've last left the house or got groceries. So it was good to see it had been 3 weeks, and I have done a ton of stitching in that 3 weeks. I haven't watched as much FlossTube as I usually do, because I've been doing other things to help the kids with their school and their virtual school and activities. But I've gotten into a good groove stitching while they're doing those things, so that's been really fun and really nice. So while I'm getting backed up on watching FlossTube videos and apparently making FlossTube videos, I am getting stitching done. So there's a lot to show you, big pile. So like I said, hope everybody's doing well. And I have 3 finishes since I've last seen you, and I have 3 new starts, and I worked on some whips. So why don't we get started? And like I said, I did watch my last video, so I actually know what I worked on. So the first thing is, let's do the finishes first, or at least some of them. First finish is Join Your Hands by Lila Studio. This is a wedding sampler that I started shortly after it came out. I want to say it was 2010, 2011. Came out in 2011, so I think I started in 2011. It was almost finished on my last video. It's stitched with 2 colors of overdyes that are very close in shade. I mean, it does almost look monochromatic. It's a Weeks and a Gentle Art. Stitched it on a 32 count Belfast linen. I believe it's antique white with the call for threads. And believe it or not, I actually did 1/2. So, and I think the coverage is fine. A couple of spots I tried 2/2. I actually thought it was too bulky. So it is done. Name, date. All I had left the last time I showed it was I needed to put some type of border in, and it's done. So I think this will fit in a standard size frame. I cannot go shop for a standard size frame right now, so I'm starting a pile of things I will FFO and go look at the thrift shop for after things open up. But there's a finish. So I was very happy to finish that. I was happy with the way it came out. And yes, for the most part, it was a very enjoyable sampler to stitch. It didn't really take that long. I didn't count stitching days, but it really wasn't a lot of stitching days. The only thing that took a little bit of time is all the wording is over 1. So, and I think 32 count is about the smallest I can go for over 1 without a lot of magnification. So good to know for future reference. So that is complete. My next finish is this chart, which is from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. This is a black and white picture because we go through a lot of ink in this house and we try to print black and white where we can. This is from the Snowflower Diaries, and I was originally making this as a small for the Frugal Yankee Retreat. So Frugal Yankee Retreat is been canceled. It was originally postponed and been canceled. So I have a small. I finished it, but I have not FFO'd it. So this is from, I don't know what year it's from. It's from the winter issue. It's issue number 4. If you have a print publication, you have access to the entire online library of the magazine, which is a great value because this is an amazing magazine. So it's issue 4 if you're looking for it. And there was another little pillow that goes with it that I don't think I printed out, but I'm probably going to do because I have enough fabric left. So here's my finish. And you will say, Amy, you stitched that twice. And yes, I did. So I decided after I was almost done with the first part, I decided to try to make it into a biscornu. I have never made a biscornu, but why not? So I stitched it twice. And as you can see, I really played border chicken. But as it's going to be a biscornu and folded in, I think I'll be okay. Says the person who has never made a biscornu. I think I'll be okay with this border. We'll see. We'll make it work. So what I did is I have a friend who is an extraordinarily fast stitcher and does a lot of finishing. And she finishes a lot of her pillows and biscornus by doing a chain stitch as the border instead of a back stitch. And then she joins the 2 chain stitches with a whip stitch. And when it is joined that way, it looks like you have a trim on it. It's really, really pretty. So I did a chain stitch border. Hold that up to the camera, see if you can see that. So it's not a back stitch border, it's a chain stitch. It's a little bit raised. Maybe I'll put some pictures on my Instagram too up close, because it's really kind of hard to see it there. So what I will do when I join it is join the chain stitch with a whip stitch. I may not do it until I see this friend in person and she can hold my hand or get me started with it, but that's the plan. And I stitched this on a scrap, well, it wasn't really scrap, it's a piece of 28 count cast shell that I had lying around. And it's like, hold it back here, you can get the good color, get the color. It's like a light ice blue. And I used 3865 for the white. And for the green, I used a Victorian Motto floss called February Green. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. I've watched a couple tutorials on biscornus, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit to put it together. So that was finish number 2. Finish number 3 was a start and a finish. On my last update video, I showed a piece of an item I've gotten from Market Sewing Club, like Blackbird Designs. This was, I said in the last video, and I think everybody has said who has shown it, what an amazing book this is. It has so many great designs in it. I want to stitch everything. but I need to start with something. So I started with this pear and the bird. It is on top, finished on top of a scissor box, which you can order through a shop on Etsy. I believe the link or the shop name was in the book. And it's a small piece. It's only 48 by 87. And it's part of a set that goes together. It's called Garden Friends Sewing Bag, Right Pear Scissor Box, and Summer Flocks Pin Cushion. So trying not to show the pattern, which is why I'm like moving the book here. So this is the set it goes with. So you can see the box at the top has a pin cushion and a little bag. So it calls for basically all the same color threads and fabric. So I might do the other two in there in the near future. What I did is I pulled all my own floss. I went through and I pulled out the DMC equivalent that was given to the fancy floss. I think it calls for like 98% weeks. So I pulled out the DMC equivalent, and then piece of white paper. I pulled the DMC equivalent, and then I went through my fancy floss, my Victorian Motto mostly, and pulled out colors that I thought were similar and worked well together. So I'm not going to go through them all, go through the colors, because they were from my floss of the month. So they're not colors you can probably get, but it's such a pretty palette, isn't it? So that's what I did for colors. And I went through my stash, and I don't stitch a lot in 32 count, but I had a nice size piece of 32 count. So I pulled it out and started in the corner. And here we go. Right Pear Scissor Box. It's finished. So I finished it last night, actually, for finish number 3. And I just love the way it came out. I stitched it as charted, except the colors are all different, obviously. My conversion. The difference I did is the bird was charted in more of a greenish color. And so I changed the bird to be more of like a true blue. And I think he's really, really pretty. This is a change for me because I stitched so much on 40 count and so much with 1 strand of floss. To stitch something on 32 count with 2 strands of floss, it's a very saturated color finish for me. And I love it. It's out of my norm, but beautiful. So this is at least a fat quarter. It's probably like a fat third. So I have enough to do the other 2 projects. So I will do them as well. I'm not sure which one I'll do next, but there it is one more time. So pretty. And the other ones call for, as I said, the same palette. So I'm all set. And when I convert to, and most people are probably just nodding their head and said, I've been doing that for years, Amy, but sometimes it takes me a little while longer to get there. But what I did is I made a conversion in this little notebook I use to jot things down in. So I put the symbol, what it called for, and then what I converted it to. So when I'm stitching, I can just look at the symbol, look to see what my converted floss is. So in this way too, now, if anybody asks, they do want to know, I could let them know. But also, if I don't stitch those other 2 items right away, I have a record. So I know what colors I used. So quick stitch. It didn't take too long. It was really small. And I really, really enjoyed it. So those are my finishes. Whips. last video, I had shown this chart, Blackbird Designs, Sunflower House. This is a very old Loose Feathers. It's Loose Feathers number 9. If you are part of the Fans of Blackbird Designs group on Facebook, it's so funny because I started stitching this right before my last video. And one of my friends who's on that group is like, I have that chart. I think I'm going to pull it out. I'm like, you should. And so a bunch of people have had the chart, started pulling it out and stitching it. And now a lot of people want the chart. And you can't, this is an out of print chart. And I have somebody waiting. I have people waiting for this chart. So please don't ask for the chart because it's been spoken for. But it's so much fun to see other people stitching what you're stitching. So the other people who started after I started have finished. So I need to get back to this to finish. But Blackbird Designs has been reprinting some of their out of print charts. And they have a couple of ones coming out this month. So they have one of the patriotic book they had a couple of years ago. They're reprinting that. They're reprinting one of their small pamphlet booklets, and then one of the Loose Feathers that has been impossible to find, and I don't have, and it's been on my list. It's 3 birds, and at the top it says like summer, autumn, winter, and it has an alphabet on it. So there is hope that Blackbird will print more charts. So all that to say, I worked on Sunflower House, but I worked on it for another day or two, I think, after my last video. This is stitched with all the called for floss and fabric, except for the green, which I traded out for a Victorian motto. It's called for Grecian gold, I believe, is the green. It's definitely yellow, at least in my fabric. And I switched it out for a truer green. So here's where I am. I'm about halfway done. Since you last saw it, I completed all those flowers and more of the vine. So that's where it is. I'm going to pull it back a little bit so you can see the colors a little bit better. So really, really pretty. So I would like to get back to this. One of the things I've been doing that has been positive over the last few weeks is that when the kids are doing homework or schoolwork and doing some of their Google Classroom meets, my 2 younger ones, my oldest one's in high school, like she's good. My 2 younger ones, I have been stitching, you know, in the room or in the next room, or just to keep them on task and to make sure they make their appointments and stuff like that. You know, once I get a few things done in the morning, like I can't go too far, but I need to be there and I don't want to just sit there. So I've been doing kitchen stitching. So stitching on projects that are not really hard to concentrate on for me and that will keep me busy and I can make some progress on. So I've been thinking about what I can put in that kitchen stitching rotation. Abby BellaStitch, I think, calls it like, she calls it kitchen stitching, or like what she stitches when she's kitchen project, or what she's stitching when she's cooking bacon. So Sunflower House, I think, is going to be next in that rotation. So it's worked out well for all of us. So I'm not complaining. More stitching time. The next thing that I worked on that I got a ton of progress on is Permanent of Copenhagen, Sampler 1830. So this is another one that I started years and years ago. So people often ask what the stitch count is, and it's not written on the chart, but it's on the back of this cover sheet. I wrote it. It's 332 by 440. So it's good sized. So this I made, in my last video, I talked about how I was thinking about doing a thread a day project during this time when we're all staying at home to kind of mark that time. So what I mean by thread a day is, in the past, what I have done is a big project that I find overwhelming. I'll make a commitment to myself to just put a thread a day in that project for a month. And what I find is after the month, I've gotten a lot of progress, which is really nice. And a lot of times I fall back in love with the project. This project over the last year has been my thread a day project here and there. So I decided to make this a thread a day while we're at stay at home. I made up for the days that I had missed, kept a little calendar in my notebook. And some days I put in more than one thread. My little rule I made up is that I could not put a thread in a day in advance, but I could make up for past days. So this project has gotten at least a thread for every day that we've been home. Hold it up, I can't see. And it has gotten a lot of progress. So that's the whole project right now. And I will fold it up and show you the part that I worked on. I am almost at having completed the top third of it. And here's the part I focused on. So I did the top border from the Z over. I was very excited to turn that corner because this is the end of the top, obviously. And as far as motifs go, I stitched this motif, this large flower motif, this small motif here, this medium-sized motif, the heart, and the crown. So next, I'll move the Q-snap. I need to make up a couple of days now. I'll fill in the bottom part here, so I'll reach the 1/3 point. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast linen. I believe the colorway is natural. And it is stitched with 2 strands of DMC 934. I am in love with this project again. So one more time, I'm going to hold it up because maybe it can be my screen grab. There we go. This is not an out of print chart. It's available in chart and kit, and it has really been a joy to stitch. It's amazing what a thread a day will do. So that was my kitchen project for a little bit while I was getting caught up on threads. And I must admit, after a while, I did stop counting. So I will get back to that today. I was thinking, like, how long am I going to stick with one project? I really want to have one project for the whole time we're at stay at home. So if it only means it gets a thread a day, it is what it is. I might change my mind. Right now, that's how I feel. So next project is a new start at StitchCon 2019. Lynette from Homesteading on the Homefront and Donna Ray from Flannel Jammy Farm and I were talking and decided to all start together A Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler, Teresa Vignette, on Easter 2020. Seemed like that day would never come because it was very far away. Take it out so you can see it. This is my copy, my working copy of the original chart. So it's definitely blown out in this picture. So we decided to do that. Other people have joined in. Know a few people who have either like restarted or are stitching on it, who are joining in on this stitch along. Shelly Kiax is one of them. Jen Lee is another one. Like, please, everybody feel free to join in. This is not an exclusive sale at all. So it's really been a lot of fun. So this is the picture. I know a lot of people have seen it. It was a 2019 market release and very popular one. So I am stitching this on a silk weaver linen. The color is Parisian taupe. It's a Bergen linen, so it's a 46 count. So here's my start. Not too much. So my eyes need a magnifier of 46 count right now. So the working of it slow. I can stitch 40 count without a problem. 46 is a little bit of a stretch for me right now. I'm stitching it with the called for anchor threads. And the calls for 3 weeks. I'm using one of them I subbed Gentle Arts in, another one I'm using the DMC. So that's all I have so far. Lynette and Donna Ray are much further, but I'm enjoying working on it. It is a really neat chart. Like there's so much stuff, like as I'm stitching it and looking at it, there's so much stuff, like little motifs and stuff hidden in the chart. It's gonna be a really fun one to stitch. So follow us on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the same as my floss tube name, GablesStitcher. And if you have this chart and you're stitching it, or if you want to start it, please join us in the stitch along. So yep, so save your sprays. One more time. There we go. All right, down to the bottom of the pile. Another start. I really want to get my whip count down. I'm not doing well with that this month. So Save His Praise is the last big sale I committed to this year. So the blackbird one, the bird with the pear, I stitched with Shelly Kieck Stitch, actually. She and I were talking about the Blackbird book, and we both wanted to start something, so we picked that because it was small. And we both finished it, so that's great. So this is my third start, the last whip I'll be showing you today. This is a Lizzie Kate chart. It's called Eek Boo Hiss, and I'm trying to get it so there's no glare. It's 3 little charts. So they're really cute. I've had this chart forever. So I'm stitching the witch. I think I'm going to do all 3. When I bought this, I bought fabric for it, but I only bought enough fabric for 2. Like, do you ever think, we look back and you wonder what you were thinking? Like, I didn't know, like I bought 2, but which 2 did I want to do? And the fabric was cut up and there was no way to make 3 out of the 2 piece of fabric I had. So like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, why did I only buy for 2? Was there one that I do not like, but I like all 3 of them now. So how was I going to choose? So I just got a different piece of fabric. So this is charted in weeks. I'm doing the DMC conversion. So they're small. They're 53 by 54, I think. And I thought they would be cute in a row. So I went to my fabric drawer. I pulled out a piece of Monaco that I copied and tea-dyed. And this is actually, last year I had stitched I Solemnly Swear I'm Up to No Good for my oldest. I know I've shown it on a few videos. This is the other piece of the Monaco that I used for that. So very frugal here with fabric. And it's going to fit perfectly. So I started in the center. I decided to put the witch in the center. Started dead center of the fabric. And I have Boo. That's it. I started it on the 13th of this month. Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, and I are starting a Halloween project every 13th of the month this year. It's, you know, it's April and we're still sticking with it. So It's pretty good. Made it 4 months. So we are using the hashtag Stitch Halloween 1313 on Instagram. So once again, please feel free to join us. We'd love for people to post their Halloween projects on the 13th of the month using the hashtag Stitch Halloween 13. Feel free to follow it. So that is my start. This is stitching up so fast. So, I mean, 4 days into it, I've worked on it here and there in the kitchen. So, and I don't know, when I finish the center, I might wait to stitch the other ones because I want to finish some other projects. But do I consider it 1 whip or do I consider it 3? That's the dilemma. So I don't need to decide now, but I will, I'm enjoying that. So it's been in my stash forever. So I was very happy to finally stitch it and to finally make the decision that, yes, I do want to stitch all 3. And the solution is just to get another piece of fabric. So that is all the stitching, if that's what you're here for. I have a little bit of retail therapy to show you. It's the rest of my market haul. So if you aren't into that, it's fine. Thanks for coming to visit, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see what I bought and I'm excited to start, feel free to stick around for a couple of minutes. So the first thing is actually with Stitchy Kindness. This chart, 3 tulips. I saw Shelly Key X had bought it a couple of months ago. And I couldn't find it afterwards. Like, it's nowhere afterwards. It's a Brenda Gervais chart. It's an older chart. And I went to order it and I couldn't find it. And I asked Shelly where she got it. And she's like, you know what? I'm not going to stitch it right away. So if you want to stitch it first, I'll send it to you and you can stitch it and then send it back. So Shelly sent it to me. I love the bunny. And I'm going to stitch it. So this will be started very soon and mail the chart back to her. So thank you very much, Shelly. We have a thing for, I love bunnies. My youngest has a collection of stuffed bunnies, and they all have different personalities, and some of them are troublemakers. So whenever I see something with a adorable bunny, especially if it's like a Brenda Gervais, I really want to stitch it. So thank you very much, Shelly, and that will be a start very soon. Didn't want to start it until I showed it. I bought 2 pieces of fabric. I need no fabric. I needed no fabric before this. However, my LNS, which is the World in Stitches, got a shipment of Seraphim fabrics in. If you've never stitched on Seraphim fabrics, you're missing out. So this is the tag. Focused. So they're gorgeous. I am trying to support small needle workshops right now because everybody's closed and they need to pay rent. And I want those shops to be around when all this is said and done. So instead of ordering from some of the big shops online, which is very easy to do, I'm trying to call the small needle workshops that I know and that are either local to me or I've been to, and email them or call them and order because I want to support them. And, you know, I can't tell you what to do with your spending dollars, but we're trying to support local in our house with our local restaurants and stores, and the same with the needle workshops. So if you're looking for, you know, a place to spend your needlework dollars, local is good. I got these, as I said, from World and Stitches in Massachusetts, Littleton, and I'll put her email below. She does not have a website, but if you email her or call her, she will get back to you really fast, and she will, you know, she will tell you what she has. She's very well stocked. So this is the piece of fabric, one of the pieces of fabric I got. And this is completely blowing it out. It's like a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. It's like a sky blue. It's a little bit better. It's a 40 count linen. It's really pretty. And it's called Mottled Randy's Blue. So, and that's actually a color that Seraphim, the dyer's Lori, had dyed for the shop owner of the World and Stitches. So I said I wanted a piece of it. Really, really pretty. Actually, those bunnies might look really nice on that. What do you think? I think it might. The other piece is a neutral. It's called Old Stationery and 40 count. And I'd been waiting for this color. It's just like a nice mottled brown, neutral, but with a little bit of interest. A little bit of brown and orangey tones in it. Just really, really pretty. And this is a 40 count as well. And now the rest of my market charts. So it was a good market, guys. Really good market. So let me show you the ones I got. I don't think I've shown any of these yet because, as I said, I ordered from a bunch of different people. So they've been coming in. I left them in a pile. So one of them is Janet Robinson, Leela Studio. This is a Scottish sampler. And I got this because it is very, very similar to the sampler that Lynette from Homesteading on the Home Front has charted. It looks like it'd be a nice companion piece. So I ordered that from her. I ordered directly from her, and I also ordered this one. Love this one. This is one of the, I think, more popular ones in market, the Quaker Welcome. So pretty. I love anything Quaker and anything with a house. Bird and flower, I'm there too. So there was nothing I dislike about the sampler. So those are both market releases. This is a popular one. I don't think I've seen anybody talk about this one, Janet, but it's pretty. All right, then I ordered, I don't remember where anything else came from, so we'll just show them. I ordered this one, Plum Street, A Shepherd's Song. So pretty. A lot of people have been showing this one. This is one of those that's deceiving. I'm telling you guys, you put something in a package that's this big, I think it's a small. I don't care how big the chart is. I think it's a small. This is not a small. This is, oh, where's the stitch count on it? It's not in the back. Oh, here it is. It's 285 by 178. It is not a small, but it is so pretty. House, flowers, and sheep. Sucker for sheep. Love it. Not let myself start it until I finish a couple of bigger things. Here's another one. Brendan Gervais. Manor at Quaker Hill. A Quaker. I'm sure everybody's seen this, but a Quaker motifs, a house, a hill, and some flowers. And I am there. Love it. This is another one that's not small, despite the fact it's put in a little bag. So we think it is. It is 327 by $187. So it is gorgeous though. Love it. So actually that piece of neutral fabric I bought, I'll show you which charts I was thinking of using with, and I think if I position it right, it'll fit both of them. This one is probably one of the top 3 that you've seen from market. Scarlet House Seek and Refuge. Really pretty. Some people have stitched this already. So pretty. Had to get it. Big sampler. Got my name on it. Consider the lilies. Heartstring samplery. Big girl. 435 by 363. But I love it. Absolutely love it. Flowers, house, birds. Gorgeous. So Beth, this was her 200th chart, I believe. His Eye is on the Sparrow was her 100th. So the companion pieces, for a short period of time, she's offering both of these in this book. And it's a nice book. So if you are interested in getting the book, the chart's not a limited release. I think the book might be a limited release. So if you want to get it in book form, I'd act sooner rather than later. And the last one, oh my gosh, I saw this. I had to have it. AH to EE, a Quaker reproduction sampler by Kathy Barrick. Give me a Quaker. Give me a Quaker in like blue or black or green, and I am there. Love it. So this I'm going to start soon. It's not big. The stitch count I don't have on right in front of me, but it's not a big sampler. If I do it in 40 count, it will fit in an 8x10 frame. So not huge. So I was thinking these two, because I think they both call for Legacy by Picture This Plus. I was thinking of putting on this fabric. What do you think? Yay? I think they'll look nice. So I think I can put them both on this piece. Remembering that I don't mind playing border chicken. So the Quaker, Kathy Barrick Quaker, calls for MPIs. As extensive as my stash is, I do not have a stash of MPIs. I do have some Vicky Clayton hand-dyed fibers rolling around. So I went, saw what I had, and this isn't the color it calls for, but I might do it with this color. I think this is Legacy Blue by HDF. Pull it out so you can see. I think that will be very pretty. So that's my thought. I was very excited to find this. Felt like I won the lottery. There we go. So that's my retail therapy, as well as supporting small business establishments. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. A little bit longer than my usual. I must not be talking to many people outside my family because I'm being very chatty. Thanks for visiting. I will put some info in the drop-down box. I do plan on making 2 more videos in the next couple of weeks that are not necessarily update videos. I think I'm going to do a Blackbird design video, and I am planning something for Mania for the month of May. It's coming together. It's going to be different than my norm, but I think I'm going to do a video, a Mania planning video. So if you are not a subscriber and you want to know about those videos when they come out, if you hit subscribe, they'll show up in your feed. If you are subscribed, great, because I appreciate everybody who watches. And thank you so much for continuing to watch and comment and like and do all the great things that you're doing. Thank you so much for visiting. I'm going to put the name of the shop too that I got the fabric at in the drop down box with her email. And keep stitching, guys. Stay well, keep stitching, and I'll see you all later. Thanks so much. Bye.